Hey guys, it's that time again of the week, our favourite show here on Pop Culture Spread. It's that show where we go back and have a look at old movies and do brand new reviews on them. That's right guys, it's my favourite show. It's probably not yours, but it doesn't matter because it's time for Retro Review, guys. Put your hands together, here is Rick and Jace.
You love the intro. You love it.
Well, maybe, I don't know if I love it, but yeah. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Friday night.
Good night. How are you?
Good, mate. Here we are. We're talking a seminal film tonight, I would say, in the realms of pop culture, which is, a big thing about what we do is about pop culture. I don't know if there was anything bigger back in the day than Batman. So before we start getting into our new review, I thought it'd be nice tonight to just think about our memories, because back in 89, I was, 16, I think, or 15, 16 at the time. And you were 10, I believe.
I was 10, mate. Yeah, I was 10 years old.
So, we probably got very strong memories on this film back when it was coming out. I remember personally the build-up for this film being massive. I mean, through the 80s, there were some blockbusters I experienced. E.T., that was a big film. Remember, playing for cinemas for months on end, lots of merchandising. Then there was Ghostbusters. That was another big one. But I think nothing like this. The build-up for this film, the anticipation for this film, and the marketing behind it was like something we had never seen before. I mean, Rick, you can go back to that poster. If you remember seeing that poster for the first time, the with just the Batman logo on the poster, that was it.
That was it.
Coming soon. That was it. And what the hell was that? But yeah, as we soon discovered, they started marketing what it was going to be. And I remember the kickback for Michael Keaton being cast in the role. There was huge.
There was.
Pre-internet, mind you, but no one was happy. Because at the time, Michael Keaton was known as a comedic actor. He was known as Beetlejuice or Mr. Mum or something like that.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Mum.
But I remember, Rick, being so hyped for it. I had the Batman logo T-shirt, very similar to what you're wearing there. I had all the stuff. I bought all the, Premiere magazines and that. I'd done all my research. I couldn't wait to see this film in 1989, which is a huge year. I mean, this is the year of some of the biggest blockbusters around. So I was hyped, mate. I couldn't remember. And before you talk about your experience, I came out of the movie back in 89, and was disappointed. That was my memory. Yeah, I was disappointed. And there were a couple of reasons for that. The reason I was disappointed, I'd done so much research on this film. I'd already seen a lot. I'd read the novelization before I'd seen the film.
Yeah.
And I built this expectation so high, the film could not live up to the expectation that I had put on the film. So I do remember being disappointed, but it was the biggest thing I'd ever seen in regards to film. It was like, you guys think Infinity War and Endgame was big. 89, mate.
Yes, sir.
Batman was it. What about your memories, mate, of seeing the film originally? Did you see it at the cinema?
I did. I saw this at the cinema. So prior to all this coming into it, I used to watch and had fond memories of watching the actual Batman series, the 60s, 70s Adam West series. And I was a big fan of it. I loved it, And then coming into it, I was like really super excited that, Batman was going to be, at the movies. I was a 10-year-old kid with my family. I think my mum and brother actually took me. We went to that cinema. It's no longer there anymore. It was in the Regent Arcade. And I remember vividly.
Hoyt Cinema.
Is it Hoyt? Yeah, it was a Hoyt back then? Or was it called something else? I can't remember. But
asking. I know it.
That's how.
Remember the My Fair Lady in Adelaide? That cinema on Island Street. Nah, you wouldn't. You're too young.
No, the one up.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so.
But it's sort of, and it just it blew me away because I was just so excited to see this movie, and to see Batman, and then I was just captivated by one of the other characters, and that was Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I thought he was a scary looking dude, and the way he presented himself, and it was just I really, really enjoyed this. And coming out of that, it was just a fond memory when I came out with my brother and my mum, and we were just, had my popcorn. I think there was some sort of promo thing that was with it. It was just, an exciting memory. So,
oh, great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, many years later now, you're someone, I know you're a fan of the series, of course, and you've probably rewatched it many times over the years. I have kind of not. I probably watched it within the first 10 years of release, watched it a few times, but I honestly have not seen this film until today. I had not seen this film for easily 15 years.
Wow.
Maybe 20 years. It's been a long time because, my memory was like, I've seen the film. My memory, I like the film, but I'd always thought that this film was overhyped, was given too much praise. So it was interesting to go back with that kind of mindset and rewatch it, And doing that, I got to say, I come out of it watching it tonight and going, you know what? I actually did enjoy it. It has got its problems. The film definitely has got some problems. Of course it does. But talk about a visionary feel to it. I mean, as much as Tim Burton is responsible for this film, like the look of the city, the Batmobile, everything. That's Anton Furst, who was the designer, who made Gotham City so alive. And watching it again, I was like, God, they did an amazing job of that. I mean, that place doesn't exist. They built that on the back lot of Pinewood Studios when they filmed it. So the scale of it, including the matte paintings, which were gorgeous in this film, the scale was actually really impressive. But I've got to say, Rick, this is not this is a Batman movie where the main star is the Joker. That's the reality of this film. It really is a Joker film. It's not a Batman film. And I'm not saying being negative because, let's face it, Jack Nicholson's portrayal here is pretty iconic, And in the realms of history, when you look at it, it's kind of that bridgeway. Like, it's the first Joker we got from the real campy Cesar Romero, where he still kind of kept it campy. But, they made him a bit more dangerous because Jack Nicholson himself is a dangerous character. Unbelievable comedic performance. And this film is very much a comedy in many ways, especially his performance, really dark comedy, but I absolutely love it. And Michael Keaton holds up his own still to this day. I think he makes a reasonably good Bruce Wayne. He's not my favorite Bruce Wayne, but he's
out of the series, though, I would say he would be the better one. No, I'm not talking. I'm talking.
If you think he's the best, you think he's the best. I just don't think he was the best Bruce Wayne. That's just the way I think. There's a couple of things that really bugged me in this film. Really fucking bugged me, and they're minor things, but from a Batman fan perspective, it's just like he would never do that. And one of them is if Alfred brought in Vicky Vale to the Batcave, that would have been his last day of employment with me. Like, that is a no-go zone. You don't bring people to the Batcave. And it just seems such a casual thing. Why? Why did you need to do it? You could have dropped her off at home. Could have dropped her off at the side of the street. You did not need her to take her to the Batcave. And certainly Alfred bringing her in as well. It's just, that really bugged me. And, of course, the infamous giant pistol taking down the Batwing, which was just my God, like, you couldn't have grabbed a rocket launcher. You had to go with something where it's so makes. I mean, like, a lot of it is, it's just silly comic book film, and you got to leap of faith and all that. But that was over the top. Those two things kind of bugged me. But overall, I love the fact that this is not an origin Batman film. It's an origin Joker film, but it's not an origin Batman film. So we actually get to see Batman. He's already Batman. We don't have to watch him become Batman. He's Batman. He's doing his job. But I don't think he's been Batman long, has he?
No.
In this iteration, because, the opening scene where he grabs that gangster and wants to let everyone know that he's around.
That's right.
Indicates that Batman hadn't been Batman that long in this one. So, which is again different from the DC comic books, but it looks gorgeous. It was some of the design in that, and I think that's what the most important thing about this film is: the score. Danny Elfman's score, with that title sequence and that music hitting in. Incredible music in this film, and it's the design of this film that really gives it that just, I don't know, something is just really unique about it. Fantastic. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine if Jack Nicholson wasn't in this film, what this film would be? If you took Jack Nicholson and put a lesser actor in this film, I think that would it
be the same?
Would not have been the same.
No.
You know, and I mean, we know how much you love the Joker, don't we? I mean, like, I think you've got something there to show us, haven't you, Rick?
I do. Speaking a little, I took him out of his little, and if you follow the channel, you'll know that I am a collector, and obviously you can see behind me. But I took, this is my Jack Nicholson.
You're more than a collector, Rick.
This is iconic for me because this is that scene because he was in it. Yeah, that
it's
one
iconic
scene.
Enough, Rick, that on your 40th, you
decided
to dress up like.
I did. There you go.
There you go. I mean, like, that's commitment, mate. That's commitment right there. So.
We had that. Yeah, loved it. I actually, I hunt. You know how hard it was for me to hunt around and because I want to be as authentic as possible as I could to that costume. And it was good. I loved it. So there you go.
So,
but
Rick, I haven't given you an opportunity to talk about you rewatching this film, mate.
Look.
What did you think rewatching it?
You know, rewatching it for me, I still, it's still definitely a good watch. It's still it's a solid movie. I had issues, obviously. There's a couple of scenes which we were talking about Vicky Vale, more so with the scenes with Vicky Vale and that photographer or that reporter, I should say. Some of those scenes were a bit of a bore for me. They kind of like, it wasn't as good, Don't worry, Kim Basinger was great back then. She was the it person back then, in the 80s. So that side of things, does it still hold up to today? There's no CG in this. It was all like miniatures and, backdrops, as you were saying before, Jace, and it's still, is an enjoyable movie. Like, I don't have an issue with it. Just those little things there, I do. But this is something that you could possibly watch, like you said, another 15 years' time. Keaton, his performance was great, but obviously his standout is Nicholson. I just love the costumes as well. Everything that was put into it, the details was just so good. But and the music as well, like you said. Like, I can't really pick anything bad about this, just those little first scenes there with those. But mate, good for me. Mate.
You talked about, like, you could go back and watch this again and in 15 years' time in it. And the reason for that, Rick, and one of the real smart choices Tim Burton made was to make this film kind of timeless. It's set in this kind of alternate 1950s type of 1960s.
It's that nostalgia.
Yeah. So it doesn't try to be modern day or realistic. Yeah. It decides to create this kind of universe, and that works. That holds up. The fact that they're not trying to, if they tried to have it set in 1989 and we saw people with leggings and whatever, frizzy hair and shit, and mullets, it would have dated it, and they've done a really good job by doing that. Anton Furst again. He is the real hero of Batman. If you don't know who Anton Furst is, get on it, look it up. The guy is a genius, and without him, Batman would just not look the same, especially this one. And no, it's got a lot going for it. It's not a horrible film, but would I go back and watch it? Only probably if we went back again and said, all right, we're going to do another review in 15 years' time.
Well,
I tend to probably wouldn't be putting this on. And there are a lot of films like that. There are a lot of films.
That's right.
One day we'll start doing, Spider-Man movies, like the early ones. I haven't seen Tobey Maguire Spider-Man film.
Oh,
mate, over a decade easily. You know what I mean? So
easy.
sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I was pleasantly surprised, Rick. It wasn't a horrible experience, and Jack Nicholson, what a goddamn genius that man is. His performance in this is unparalleled, mate. He owns every inch of the frame when he is on screen, you know.
And that's what, you know. Yes, you're right. It is his movie, really, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it's a Batman movie where the main character is the Joker.
Is Joker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And look, probably if you've got someone like Jack Nicholson on board to play this iconic character, then yeah, absolutely, dude. You use him, you know what I mean, and you get him on screen as much as you possibly can, and because he won't let you down. But Michael Keaton, who knew? Again, I think I like him more as Batman than I do as Bruce Wayne in this film. But yeah, I feel for him too, because knowing that suit, he could move his neck. Yes. Like he'd have to turn his whole body because it was just one giant. But what a cool looking costume too. So, and I've got to say, that has aged extremely well, shockingly. That his bat suit looks still pretty badass to today's standards.
Yeah, but then
considering we've had all these other iterations of them as well.
It just went downhill. Like it's just in this.
In that universe.
Batman, Robin.
By the time we get to the Bat Nipples, we got.
What the hell were they thinking?
Chris Nolan's one looks great, and so did.
Spider ones. I'm just talking about this. This universe. But so good. And then the Batmobile back then. You know how you know. Iconic was that just this first Batmobile right? When you first saw that when that came on screen?
Yeah, you know, Jared he's just obviously our very big supporter, Jared. He made this comment, and there's something really interesting about this comment. He goes, "I can't do business with a movie that has a villain that I could beat the shit out of." And you're right, because that is one of the big problems in the film too. That there's no real threat. Like when they do get to the tower at the end of the movie, you know Batman's got him. Batman's got him dead to rights. There's no real fight. Where I felt the other iterations of the Joker, like Heath Ledger, was so wily and things like that. He was a real threat to Batman. And so was Jared Leto, I thought, as well. So, and then obviously he's backed it up, Jared. Still better than that actor's fat Batman. I don't see it. I don't think he's Batman. I think he's fucking jacked Batman, to be honest with you. But there you go. But anyway, there we go. That was Batman 1989. Our fond memories of going back and doing a retro review. I was really surprised that I loved some things, and then I was a bit surprised at how they really kind of missed the boat. But there you go. Right. We don't actually have on the wheel Batman Returns. Do you know that? No. We have not done a retro trailer reaction on Batman. No, we have on Batman Returns. We have, but it's not on the wheel right now because we've got so many movies.
Okay.
But, Batman Returns is going to be a difficult chat to have because that's a very different movie than this one.
That's right.
Controversially so. But anyway, that's a chat for another day, Rick. We've done it. We've talked about Batman. Mate? It's that time, isn't it now?
The wheel, mate. The wheel of destiny. Whoa,
the wheel of destiny. One name for it, but I contend to call it the wheel of retro, Rick. The wheel of retro.
There's movies on there I don't want to watch, and there's ones I do.
Yeah, why not, man? What? We watch The Exorcist again. It'll be good.
Yeah.
My
God.
Anyway, but here we go. But you don't know if you're going to land on it, do you? So it's time. Let's spin. Let's have a look and see what we're going to be reviewing.
What do we got?
You want to have a look at a few before I start clicking?
What do we got? Oh, yeah, Bachelor Party. Under Siege. Wow. Yeah.
There's
some good ones there, mate.
There is.
Good mix.
Let's find out.
Oh, what do we got, Jack?
Let's find out. We'll let it spin for a sec. So you really don't want The Exorcist, do you, dude?
We don't want a black. Yeah, no, we all
don't want a black one. Right?
Yeah,
well,
that's all right.
That's a little bit racist, Rick. Let's be honest. But here we go. I'm going to click it now. 3, 2, 1, click. Well, there we go. Back to a fairly recent one.
Wow.
1999, I believe.
Something about
There's
Mary.
Something about Mary.
Okay.
That's interesting. This will be our first full-blown comedy to do a retro review. It's hard to believe that this film is was it 98 or 99? It was definitely a while ago. So, yeah, I have very fond memories of this movie. I actually, you know what? I'll save the story for next week, but I got a little bit of a story about this film as well. So I'm looking forward to having a chat about it.
Did that one scene happen to you as well? Did it? Or
yeah, absolutely. Actually, earlier, to be honest with you. No. About when I first saw this in the cinemas back all the way back then. So, but yeah, mate, that's a story for another week.
Awesome.
Something About Mary next Friday. That'll be our retro review. That'll be fun. Well, that's it, Rick. We've tied it up.
That's it.
So there it is for tonight. Batman 1989, the epic blockbuster. We've re-looked at it, re-watched it. Before we go, Jared, our stalker fan. No, I'm kidding. Should be The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp. Very underrated. Yeah, kind of like it. And you know what? We should do a retro trailer reaction on that because it is old enough now, believe it or not. But yeah.
There we go.
There you go, guys. Fantastic. We've enjoyed doing this and we'll enjoy it again next week as we do Something About Mary on Retro Review. That's me. I'm out of here. What about you, Rick?
I'm out, guys. Thank you very much.
You're out of here too, and we will see you next week. Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.
See ya.